Welcome to Roadtrip WDW. I'm your host, Rebecca Schlau. This is episode 29. We're going to go over the latest news. Disney World announced a reopening day. Yay! July 11th, guys. July 11th is the big day. That is when Disney is reopening the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. Now, Epcot and Hollywood Studios will reopen on the 15th, but this was amazing. This presentation was amazing to listen to. Now, there's going to be some changes to Walt Disney World. There's going to be all these different safety protocol measures. You're going to have your temperature screened. You're going to have to wear a mask. You're going to have to do things just a little bit differently getting into the park. They're reducing the capacity quite a bit. They haven't told us the exact number of how much they're reducing. They're also going to have some sort of reservation system in place, which we still don't know details about. They're going to be making everybody socially distant, stay 6 feet apart. And again, the mask thing, that's a big deal. They're also going to cancel fireworks. There's not going to be any character meet and greets or parades. They're going to try to do everything that avoids like tightly packed crowds. They do not want crowds. They don't want people jumbled together. Looks like they are going to have some zones within the park of like mask-free zones where you're going to be able to take off your mask, because I know everyone's kind of freaking out about having to wear a mask in Florida in the summer, but there's going to be some places where you can take off your mask. We're going to have a squad of people that are making sure we're following the rules too. I'm assuming they're going to have cast members that are kind of helping to make sure the crowds do what they're supposed to be doing. And, the presentation, it was kind of minimal in all the details about how everything was going to work out. And they didn't mention any news about the water parks, and they didn't specifically actually mention the resorts. Some cool things. They did say there might be some soft reopenings a little bit earlier than July 11th, but they didn't give any details about that either. They also mentioned that there weren't going to be any like play areas or interactive features like the fountains and things like that. So kind of a bummer there, but I understand. They're going to be doing a lot of mobile ordering for your foods to try to help prevent people from standing in lines at the food counters too. They're going to really try to recommend that the cashless payment. They don't want your dirty cash, y'all. They're also going to be giving out, lots of sanitizer. They're going to be having hand washing stations. There's going to be these reminders everywhere. Now, all the cast members are going to be doing all these protocols too. There's going to be a lot of cast members have to go through a whole process. So it's not like they're just going to be cracking down on us. They will be making sure their staff is as safe as can be, although we are still going to be assuming the risks of COVID-19. Right after they made that announcement, they kind of put on hold all the new ticket sales and Disney Resort hotel reservations. They went ahead and paused all that so that they could focus on people who already have existing reservations. And so if you tried real quick to book a new reservation, you likely weren't able to do it. They were allowing Disney Vacation Club members to go ahead and continue making some reservations, so that's kind of cool. Looks like they're going to be giving us annual pass holders, if you're an annual pass holder, to go ahead and make reservation requests before other tickets are sold for other people who don't have those annual passes. And looks like, the new ticket sales and more hotel reservations, they're going to come later after everyone else who's already an annual pass holder and those who already have tickets and hotel reservations have been dealt with. Now, if you wanted to go to a DVC resort, those actually are going to reopen to people on June 22nd. That also includes the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Now, DVC, I guess, is a little bit different beast than just regular, the other regular resorts. But, I think that's kind of interesting. So, if you just wanted to go for a staycation, I guess you would be able to on just DVC points. Like, if all you wanted to do was stay at the resort and all you wanted to do maybe just go to Disney Springs, I guess you could. I'm wondering if this is also a way that people could stay at the resort and then hop on over to Universal, which will be opening on June the 5th. And so maybe they're trying to get some of those people. So this was all the good news. It was such a wonderful day. It really did lighten my heart yesterday to know that there's finally a date. It just made me so happy. And yesterday was my birthday too, so I couldn't have had better timing. I really couldn't have. And also I have a trip booked on July 18th, and so that really made me happy that the parks were going to be opening right before we had planned our vacation. Now for round 2 of news. So that was the good stuff. But we're about to hear the bad stuff. Maybe some of it's not so bad, but with the good news of the parks reopening, there has to be some changes. And with the new reservation system and controlling the crowd capacities and making sure social distancing is enforced, they had to do some changes. They had to make some changes. And they just released those earlier this evening. I mean, it was pretty late, actually. It was about, I think it was like 8 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock our time, 8 o'clock Orlando time. So they released this news kind of late. And what they said was, okay, listen, we're going to keep on, no new ticket sales or hotel reservations, not doing anything right now. We have to limit the restaurant capacity. So at this point, we are getting rid of all dining plans. So if you booked a vacation with a free dining plan offer, too bad, you no longer get that free dining plan. If you'd planned on getting the Disney dining plan or one of the dining plans, you're out of luck. They wiped out the dining plans until next year, next September 2021. There will be no dining plans. They also canceled all reservations, all dining reservations until later September. So that means if you spent your time booking your dining reservations 180 days out, like I've always encouraged you, then you're out of luck. That time was wasted. You're not going to get that. However, the silver lining there is that those who had existing reservations, dining reservations, will probably be the first people offered the spots. And so that's actually kind of good. But no dining reservations, y'all. If you had them, they're wiped out. Also, they have wiped out all your fast passes. There are no more fast passes being booked. And wow, just think about the time it took to book fast passes, not once but twice, for my vacation that once got canceled and then rebooked. And also same thing with dining reservations, that got canceled and then rebooked. No more fast passes, no more dining plan, and no more restaurants, no more restaurant reservations. And moving forward, after all of this hits, they're going to stop doing restaurants 180 days in advance. They're going to stop allowing people to book these reservations so far in advance, which I get that. That's kind of cool. They're going to let people do that within 60 days of their trip. So that's a little bit better. But man, it's so hard to coordinate your dining reservations and fast pass. That's a really tricky process. So those of us who had vacations, in the next few months, I'm so happy that I have the chance to go. I'm really upset about the plans though. All that time it took to make all these plans, but I know I have to adjust. They're also getting rid of all the extra magic hours. There will be no extra magic hours. There are not going to be any special tours or things like that. Now, all of this is temporarily suspended, just due to crowd control and that new reservation system we're gonna be faced with. Now, I've heard that if this doesn't work for you and you have an upcoming trip, they will, those who were impacted by this, like for instance, those who had rebooked or rescheduled their vacation with that free dining offer, which we're part of, we could get a 35% discount for a future trip. And, this is actually a pretty good deal. However, those of us who really want to keep our trip dates, who are desperate to go, this really stings, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm all about saving money when I go to trips. Even when I stay at kind of nice or fancy resorts, I'm all about saving money. I never pay the cost that Disney tells me the cost for a room. Like, that's called the rack rate. So if you go and you price out a vacation without any discounts, the room rate is going to, per night will be a certain number. However, throughout the year, they always offer discounts, like summer promotions. They always have promotions, or even annual pass holders can usually get a room discount. So I usually rely on those discounts. I usually rely on promotions when I book my vacations, and that's an important part for me, and that helps me afford everything I want to afford. Now, I had my reservation booked with a promotion, but, my reservation in May obviously isn't happening right now. So I rebooked it to a room only. And then I found out I could probably, I didn't actually reschedule. I had a extra trip planned in July just in case my May got canceled. So once my May did get canceled, I still had a backup room only at the Polynesian in July. Now, once I realized I could qualify for the dining plan, I did the math, and it turns out it would work for me. However, part of that was having to pay the full price of a room, so I had to pay that rack rate for that room. No discounts, but I got free food. And, there's 5 of us, so it ended up being kind of worth it. Now that they've wiped out all the free dining plan offers that they already gave us, to reschedule, paying rack rate, the room I have is really, really expensive. And I really, really want to go to Disney World. However, I can't do anything about it. Those of us who had reservations who now want to make some changes based on this new news, you can't modify reservations. I mean, you could cancel, yes, and they want you to cancel. They want to thin out the crowds, I'm assuming. But you can't modify. You can't ask them about discounts. There are no discounts available. I tried to call and I tried to say, hey, we had a room only and we had a discount, and right now they weren't doing any modifications. So if you're unhappy with something and you want to change and you cancel your reservation, you can't just immediately go rebook right now, because there are no bookings right now. Nothing's getting booked. And so this is a real bummer for me, because I would not have booked the resort I booked paying the full price of a room. And I'm assuming a lot of other Disney planner people kind of like me wouldn't have either, because we're staying in a really nice resort. It's going to cost a lot of money, and I don't want to do that. So if we're not able to get any sort of discount, then we are going to have to forego our Disney World vacation that we've been planning for. We've been planning for this one for a few years because it was kind of special. We were going to stay at the Polynesian, but it looks like we may end up having to cancel. Now, I'm hoping that if we do have to cancel our Polynesian resort reservation because it's just going to be too much money now because we don't get a discount, I'm hoping there is a way I can snag. Might be able to use maybe a friend's DVC points and pay him some money. I might be able to rent DVC. Some DVC company might be able to offer me some points, so I might still be able to stay. And so, I'm gonna have to make the adjustments. And let it be clear that I know I'm really privileged, and I know in the long grand scheme of life troubles that missing out on a Disney World vacation for once really isn't that big of a deal. But for us Disney World planners, this is a hard hit. It's a lot of stress. So, but we don't really know. We still don't know details yet. This is all just coming out. Everything changes. I mean, it's kind of like the coronavirus. It's like everything changes every day. You just never know what you're going to wake up to. You never know what's going to be the next announcement. So right now I'm just staying still. Right now there is nothing to do. I'm not going to cancel my trip. I'm not going to panic. I've already been panicking. But I'm going to just sit and wait. And then I guess I'll put on my Karen hat and go to town and call people if I have to, and see what they can do, because it really changes how we planned this year with getting our annual passes if we're not going to be able to use them again. So there's a lot of things to work out. So that's where we're at with Disney World. The good news is we have an opening day. The bad news is there's going to be a lot of changes that us Disney planners are going to have to adjust to, because part of our hobby, part of our thrill was planning vacations, and now they kind of wiped it away. I'm not too worried in the long run. In the long run, I'm going to adapt, and it's not going to be a big deal. I still love Disney World, and I cannot wait to return. However, y'all, knowing that Disney World might not happen, I went ahead and booked a placeholder reservation at Universal, because we had a great time last year when we went right before our Disney trip. I loved it, and I can't wait to go back. So if Disney doesn't work out, it's fine. I got my Universal trip already booked, paid my deposit, and so I'm going somewhere, y'all. I'm going to Orlando for vacation one way or another. On lighter notes, Disney Springs opened up some more stores. Some of the Disney-owned stores finally opened up yesterday. Now there were lots of lines, several hours worth of waiting to get into like the Disney store down there. It's called World of Disney. But that is still promising and hopeful. So that's kind of exciting. I got an email from Sprinkles. That's the cupcake store at Disney Springs. And they're reopening tomorrow on May 29th. And they're going to be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's really cool. Looks like they're not going to be offering any walk-ins. You'll just have to order from their now limited menu. You're going to have to be using an app to order or do an online order, which, that's fine. It's kind of cool. You got to choose from different 4-box sets if you want cupcakes. So I guess they're not just going to be giving out one. You got to order 4, a box of 4. Looks like they're going to range in between $20, $24. That sounds amazing right now, actually. And that's it, y'all. That's all I got today. This was just an update on the news. This is going to change some things. I don't know if all of these changes are going to be lasting or they're temporary, but it does look like that a lot of the social distancing and limited capacity, that's going to be going on for quite a while. However, this situation is just fluid. It's ever changing, and so we really don't know. And so I'm trying hard not to panic or freak out, and we're all just going to have to adjust. The good news is Disney World is reopening, and this, like I said, just makes my heart happy. It just feels good knowing we have a date. It feels good knowing that there's going to be happiness returning. We might not be able to hug our favorite characters or do everything that we've always done, and we may have to wear a mask, but at least Disney World is opening. Yay! And at some point, I will get back there. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for today. If you want to catch up with me on social media, please do so at my Facebook page at Roadtrip WDW. You could also send us an email at roadtripwdw@gmail.com. We also have some other social media accounts that I don't care about, but get a hold of me on Facebook if you need me. Alright, gang, there you have it, road trippers, and I'll see you real soon.